Great Team back at it again. Welcome to episode 110. Thank you to the people watching me for the first time. Hope you liked the video. Go back and watch my other videos. Maybe you'll find something you like and enjoy. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, share. Thank you to those who's been with me since I started the journey and those along the way. Truly appreciate you guys for sticking around. Hope you enjoy the videos I'll be putting out. Hope you enjoy this one. Today I'm going to do this video on my favorite TV dads. I did a video a couple of weeks about my favorite TV moms, which is a great video. But I think this one hits home harder because I'm a dad and I didn't really grow up with a father figure in my life, like a positive father figure. So I wanted to just share the guys that helped me become the father that I am today. I watched a lot of TV growing up, and these are some of the dads that I got a lot of my inspiration from that I try to emulate in my everyday life as a father. I've been a father for like 23 years now, so I took a lot from these TV shows and these TV dads, and I just want to share. These are the ones that helped me to figure out what kind of father I wanted to be. So with that being said, my first TV father is going to be Philip Drummond. Who was played by by Conrad Bain. The show aired from 1978 to 1986. Of course, it's different strokes. He was a Park Avenue millionaire and investor, corporate executive, president of Trans Allied Inc. You know what I liked about Philip Drummond was he took in two black kids, and when he didn't have to. So their mom was a maid in his house. Both his parents died. I don't remember exactly how they died, but he took it into his thing to. I guess his mom said if anything happened to her or her husband, that if he could take them in, and he said yes. And when they both died, he took them in. Two black kids from Harlem, and he treated them like they were his kids. I like the first like 3 seasons the most because it really showed the dynamic of them trying to adapt and living in a big big penthouse suite or whatever, and being with rich people and going to a different school or great schools and stuff like that. So I like that whole dynamic. But what I really liked about Philip Drummond is he never treated them like they weren't his kids. He called them son. They ended up eventually calling him dad. They called the sister Kimberly their sister. They didn't differentiate because they were black and white that they weren't related, which I really liked. And this show aired from 1978 to 1986, so there was not a lot of white people taking care of black kids. And I also liked the way that he pushed for them to succeed. He put them in the best schools, put them in positions where they could succeed and be something more than they would be otherwise. I remember there was an episode where the family I guess the mother's sister tried to take him back, and they didn't want to go because they knew that they wouldn't be given the opportunity to fully reach their potential living with their parent, I guess their aunt and uncle or whatever. Living with Mr. Drummond gave them opportunities that they would never see living in Harlem. Like I said, going to the best schools and learning and stuff like that. And they had the money and the means to do whatever they wanted to do. So he was one of my favorite dads just because he showed that just because they're not born to you, you can still be a father to other people's kids and raise them like you're their own. And I truly enjoyed that aspect of him as a father. My next one is going to be Danny Tanner. From Full House, played by Bob Saget, R.I.P., which aired 1987 to 1995. He was a co-host of a daytime talk show, Wake Up San Francisco, and I think he was a sports analyst or something too in the later seasons, or whatever. But I like Danny Tanner because watching this show, they didn't have a mom. I guess their mom died, and he was a single father raising 3 kids pretty much on his own. He had Uncle Jesse and his friend there too. I can't remember his name, but he was pretty much raising the family on his own, taking care of everything. And I enjoyed that aspect of it because you don't see that on a regular TV show. Most of the TV shows, sitcoms, you had a mother and father, and there was that mother father dynamic. And I like the fact that he was a single dad raising these kids on his own with the help of two other dudes. That was totally different than the regular script played on daytime TV. I mean, on nighttime TV, especially in 1987 when the show started. So and he was a loving father. He was super funny. He cared about his kids. He was in their life. He was there for them. He did everything he could to raise them the right way and all that stuff. So Danny Tanner is definitely one of my favorite dads. He showed me that you can do it on your own if you have to. The next one is going to be Uncle Phil from Fresh Prince of Bel Air, James Avery, aired from 1990 to 1996. He was a wealthy lawyer and judge. So Uncle Phil was one of my favorite dads because he was a very strong-minded individual. He was super funny. What I liked about him is he also took in a kid that wasn't his own. Actually, he wasn't even a kid. He was like 16, I guess, when he came moved to Bel Air, Fresh Prince. His wife's nephew, and he treated him like he was his son, and I like that. Um, and I like that he paid for his school. He made sure he went to school, went to a good school, made sure he went to college. He just showed him the things. He actually showed him how to be a man and how to be a father and the type of father you would want to become. And that aired out in the episode that his father, Will Smith's father, came. And I thought that dynamic was very interesting to me because it actually showed me that um, you can be a successful father and you can also take care of your kids too. And he's a black man showing the nation that a black man is there for his family. I just like the whole Uncle Phil aspect. He was just a strong black man, and I like that aspect. Who cared about his family and his wife. Next one is the original black family. Heathcliff Huxtable, The Cosby Show, which aired 1984 to 1992, played by, of course, Bill Cosby. Fantastic show. He was an OBGYN who ran a practice from his home. He was like one of the first work from home jobs or whatever, which is crazy because that's a big thing today. But he was doing that in the 80s. So he would run his practice out of his house and then deliver the baby in of course, in the hospital. But this was like one of the first shows that actually showed a black family striving on TV. Um, Dr. Huxtable was a doctor. His wife was a lawyer. They loved their family. They worked together. He was very strict and stern, but super funny. His kids loved him. He made sure all his kids went to school and college and grew up to be good people or whatever. And I like the fact that he was always there for them. Whenever they had to go through, he was there. He was giving them fatherly advice. I take a lot of my fathering from from Dr. Huxtable. I try to talk to my kids and stuff like that. And I just he just was a big inspiration in my life and showed that you can make it, you can be a successful person and have a successful wife and still have a very great family. And he was one of my favorite TV dads growing up. I still enjoy the first couple of seasons of The Cosby Show also. The next one I'm going to talk about is James Evans. Now, he's different than everybody on this list because he was poor. They lived in the ghetto, but that didn't stop him from taking care of his family. James Evans, Good Times, which aired from 1974 to 1979. He was only show for 3 years, 3 seasons because there was a difference of opinion and direction of the show. I guess the show wanted to focus more on JJ, and he wanted a pay raise and to focus more on the family life of him in Florida. And I guess he lost because they killed him off. They made it permanent. They made sure he wasn't able to come back on later seasons or whatever. But James Evans often worked two jobs, mostly manual labor, like dishwasher, construction labor, etc. He was often unemployed, but he was very proud and never accepted any charity. He was a veteran of the Korean War. He was deeply committed to doing whatever it takes to provide for his family. He was honest and hardworking. he could only get like low paying manual labor jobs because of his lack of formal education. Only had made it to the sixth grade. He dropped out to support his family. I didn't even know all of this. I found out all of this on my research, learning about him. But I love the show. I like the fact that I didn't like it, but I understood the fact that they was poor, but you didn't have to just wallow in your self pity because you were poor. He was out there getting jobs. There was episodes where he got fired, where he was in the unemployment office. So even if he lost his job, he was still out there trying to get another job, and that really stayed with me. Even today, I've been fired a couple times, but I never really got down on myself. I would go back out there and get another job and provide for my family, because that was his number one thing. Make sure his family was okay. Make sure they had a roof over their heads and uh, clothes on their back and food to eat. He was a very stern man, which I take into today because I'm very stern with my kids or whatever. So I learned a lot from him. Even though he was poor, he worked hard and he made sure his family was good. And that really stuck with me through my life and to my present day, taking care of kids. I've been a father for over 23 years, and I think I'm an all right father. But I'm stern, and make sure my kids know what I say is fine or whatever. And I got a lot of that from James Amos or James Evans or whatever. The next guy I'm going to talk about is Al Bundy. He's not the type of father you want to be like, but I love the show and I thought he was super funny, so he had to make my list. He was a shoe salesman, played on Married with Children by Ed O'Neill, aired from 1987 to 1997. One of my favorite all-time TV shows. Not only is it from based off of Chicago, but he was funny. He was a salesman, a shoe salesman. He hated his job, but he loved his family. He went to a job every day that he hated, but he still provided for his family, still took care of mortgage, and they had a nice house too. I don't know, I don't understand his. I just don't know. He had a nice house. His wife was pretty, but she was not the type of woman you would want to marry. But she was loyal to him, and he was loyal to her. There was a couple episodes where he fought for her, and he showed her that he really loved her, and he loved his kids. He was always behind his kids. Even though he wasn't the best of dads, he was always there for them. And that shows that despite you not loving your job, you're always there for your kids. You're always there for your family. And I love that aspect of the show, even though he wasn't the best type of role model. But it was a good show. He showed he had strong character, and he was a great dad. And the last guy I'm going to talk about is Carl Winslow. Family Matters, played by Reginald VelJohnson, aired from 1989 to 1998. Now, Carl Winslow has a huge place in my heart because um, I wanted to be a police officer because of him. That's why I went in the Air Force. I was security force in the Air Force. I thought I was going to be a police officer when I got out, and that changed because I didn't want to do it anymore. But as a kid, I wanted to be a police officer. One of the reasons was watching him on Family Matters. I thought it was a cool job. I thought the things that he did in the show when they showed the police stuff was really inspiring to me. And being a black kid, watching a black man be a police officer, I thought that was pretty cool. So it drove me to want to be a police officer until I didn't want to anymore. But Carl Winslow was a great father, a great family man. And the show was based out of Chicago too, which I loved. He had a house, he had a nice wife, kids that he loved and took care of. I like the first 2 to 3 seasons because it really focused on their family, hence the title Family Matters. What brought the show down, in my opinion, was focusing the show on Urkel. I know he got the laughs and got the viewership up, but they totally removed themselves from what the show originally was, which I understand. But I still enjoy the first couple of seasons before Urkel showed up. I thought he was a real funny. He was a stern father. Loved his kids, of course, loved his family, and he loved his job, which I found fascinating. And he was a black man in a black family who took care of family, which I liked. Like I said, I didn't have that kind of aspect in my life, so I took a lot of what I've learned being a father from those TV shows. And like I said, I think I'm a pretty good dad or whatever. But that's going to be my list. There was a couple people that I left off that like um Mr. Brady from the Brady Bunch. I didn't I liked him, but I don't think he would have made my list. It was just what's his name? Mr. George Jefferson from the Jeffersons. He was a good dad, but they didn't really show his son a lot in the show. But those are some of the people that I enjoyed as my favorite TV fathers. I tune in every week. I got a lot of my fathering uh, ways from them. But that's gonna be it for this episode. Thank you guys for watching. I truly appreciate you for giving me a couple minutes of your day. You could have been on anybody else's channel and you decided to watch mine. So thank you for giving me 10 minutes out of your day. That's gonna be it. Have a good one. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Later.